Hi, folks. If you have a hobby, you want to enjoy that hobby. And if you've got a small workshop, one of the ways you can increase your enjoyment is to mobilize your tools, at least the large ones. You can take them out of service and get them out of your way when you don't need them, and then pull them back into service when you're ready for them. Now, I did that recently when I put together two Harbor Freight mobile bases and put my Harbor Freight bandsaw on one and this drill press on another. I found it's worked fairly well, but I do have a little bit of an issue with this drill press. And today, we're going to take a look at how to resolve that. So this is a follow-up to that original video. Stick around and let's learn together. So I found that the Harbor Freight bandsaw that I put on this mobile base works fairly well. It's a fairly wide footprint and it doesn't rock too much when I'm using it. I'm pretty happy with it. This drill press, on the other hand, it rocks quite a bit. Now, drill presses often are fairly top heavy, especially if you have the cast iron plate up pretty high, and then of course you have the motor up here. Plus, drill presses often have small footprints on their base, which of course this one does. Now, I took the drill press and I just rested it inside the flanges that were on the Harbor Freight mobile base, thinking that would probably be good enough. But I think we can do better. So I'm going to take a piece of plywood and install it inside the mobile base, and then I'm going to bolt this to that, and we're going to see what that does and see if it improves the situation any. Here you can see where the corner of the drill press foot basically rests on those little corner pieces on the mobile base. Now what I'm going to do is take some measurements and figure out what size piece of plywood I need to go inside this. I'm going to give it just a little bit of slop room. Next, I'm jumping over to the table saw, and of course you could use anything to cut this. I'm just using my table saw, but I'm adjusting the blade to where I need it, the height, and using the tape measure to get the fence, the width I need to cut this piece of, well, it was going to be plywood. It ended up being OSB. And the main reason for that is I only had a full sheet of plywood and I didn't feel like pulling it out and ripping it down for this little piece. So I found a scrap piece of OSB, about 3/4 inch, and decided to use that. It'll work just fine for what we're doing. Next, I pulled out the crosscut sled so that I could get it down to the final dimensions. Having that crosscut sled is really nice. It basically acts as a zero clearance cut guide. So if I put the mark up to that little groove you see in the back, right up to the edge, I know the cut will be exactly where I need it. Now, I happen to have a hoist in my shop, and so I'm going to use that to lift this up to get it off the current base that it's on. I actually used this to put it on there originally. If you don't have a hoist in your shop and you're old like me and got a bad back, you might want to consider. I got a separate video on that if you want to go check it out. It's a nice thing to have. Of course, I'm talking about the hoist, not my bad back. But anyway, now I'm going to take that piece of wood that I cut and I'm going to put it into the mobile base, and I'm just putting some clamps on it so I can hold it in place because I'm going to need to flip that thing up and work with it here in just a minute. Thanks to the magic of video editing, that was a quick minute. Now, I've mentioned before in my videos, I like to have those little kits of various nuts and bolts laying around in my shop, so I'll go to the store and get them when they're on sale, just so I have a nice variety because I never know what I'm going to need for a given project. And for small projects like this, it's great. I don't have to go out and specialty buy. Now I'm obviously drilling the holes that we're going to use to bolt this to the base, and then I'm going to put the bolts in and the nuts in. Might want to use some Loctite here if you have it, just to keep it in place. Now the key thing here is to make sure the bolt's not too long to where it sticks out too far to where it's going to scrape on the ground when you have it in its lowest position. And of course, that could vary for you depending on the thickness of the piece of wood you use. So just experiment with that and make sure you get what's right for you. Now for me, that was a 5/16 diameter and a 1-inch long bolt. By the way, if you're liking this content, any likes and subscribes would be appreciated, and any constructive comments that helps me and others are always welcome. Next, we're going to use that lift again to lift up the drill press and slide the new mobile base under there. Once I get that in place and don't take out my toes, I can unhook it, and then we will roll it around, get it back over to where it needs to be. That's the beauty of mobile equipment. And now we can test it and see how perfect this is. Well, that's not perfect. I could still tip over. Well, I think we have something we can do about that. Now the fix is we're going to secure the base of the drill press to the piece of wood. Now the astute viewer will realize here in a moment that I'm actually drilling through the metal flange, that little corner piece on the mobile base itself, which means I did not have to put those bolts in the front piece that I used to secure the wood to the base, because this will serve both purposes of securing the whole thing to the base. But that's okay. Now, the bolt I'm going to use is just a little too long for my comfort. I don't want it to protrude through the bottom too much. So I'm using some washers to help space that appropriately. Now, that's a 3/8 inch bolt, and it is 3 inches long. Of course, that may vary for you depending on the material you're using for the base. Next, I jump over and just do the same thing to the other side. You may notice that I'm putting a block of wood underneath there as I drill, and that's basically so that when I drill through the metal and I punch through, I don't go straight down into the concrete and put a big chip in the concrete. So just a little extra protection there. Now we'll go ahead and get those bolts on and get those snugged up. And if you notice very closely in the background there is Shopcat with his ever watchful eye. He's always doing quality control on me. He thinks I don't see him though. Now we can jump over and do the back side of the stand. And right now I'm actually just going into wood. I didn't have to worry about the metal. Now I did run into a little bit of a problem here. And that's basically the gap on the back wasn't tall enough to allow me to get under there and get that nut on there. So I went back to the hoist once again and basically just hoisted it up. And I'm going to take some blocks of wood and put on there just to make sure I have plenty of clearance and can set it back down. I don't want it collapsing on my fingers. That would not be good. I ended up using the same 3-inch bolt I used from the front. I thought I was going to need 3.5, but this worked out. Now the cast iron here is a little bit taller, but I didn't need the washers and it all worked out. Just putting that second bolt in there on the back side. Get that nut up in there. Again, you might want to use some Loctite here if you'd feel more comfortable. Now we can go back and snug both those bolts down. Now, there is something you want to be aware of, and that is, will the holes in your piece of equipment line up with the existing holes that are already in that base? In my case, they did not, and they were far enough away I didn't have to worry about it. But just check on that and make sure that you're not going to run any overlap there that might cause you any problem. Now, if all the holes line up, perfect, just use those. And through the power of mobile equipment, we can put it back in place and give it a test run. And let's see how we did. So it's certainly better by adding that wooden base, bolting that to the frame, and then bolting the base of the drill press to that wooden base. But there's still some rocking going on. I notice side to side, it's a little more noticeable than going front to back. Does not quite rock as much that way. So I think at this point what's going on is there's a metal flange that sticks out on the side and the bolt comes up through it and it has the rubber foot on it. That's your stop when you let the base go down. And I believe that metal is flexing a little bit. In addition to that, I believe that the rubber base itself has got a little bit of give to it. So I'm able to rock it just a little bit. Now my drill press is only going to put forces straight down for the most part. So I'm not too worried about it. Although it still rocks a little more than I would have liked after doing all this work, it does give me the security of knowing that it's bolted to the wider footprint of the mobile base, which means it won't tip over quite as easy. I noticed before I bolted it down, I could rock this and start tipping it over pretty darn easy because it is so top heavy. And after doing this, it's going to take a lot more work to go ahead and push this thing over, not just an accidental bump to it, I don't believe. Now my other tools have wider bases and I don't notice as much rocking. There is a little bit though. For example, this bandsaw back here, I can shimmy it just a little bit. I don't notice it that much when I'm using it, but it will do it. It is just something to be aware of. But the benefits gained from having this equipment mobile and being able to move it around where I need it and get it out of the way when I need to, that surpasses any rocking issues that I've experienced with that. But just something to be aware of. Well, thanks for watching.